How about that?
Let's start all over. So, as I was fixing the app,
Go ahead. What did you say at the beginning? What?
Wendy forgot to do the one thing that she was supposed to do. So, Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, good morning. Guess what today is?
Hump day.
It is hump day.
So let's hurry up and run through what we were running through when you couldn't hear us.
I was just saying that we're having an issue. Rumble is having an issue with our feed. They've got their best people on it. I've got my best people on it. He's sitting across from me. Jason is nice enough to let us bounce over to Wimpkin today. Also, Brock's putting it on his Facebook page.
Right.
Which we never do.
Correct. We don't even like to use YouTube.
And now we're using YouTube.
But we have to use Jason's YouTube because we've both been kicked off.
Yes.
So we're using that. So just for the people on the app, if you're watching on Facebook, why? And if you don't have the Wendy Bell Radio Network app, go to your app stores and get it. Go to Rumble, join Rumble because
it's going to get back up here.
Yes.
We're just going to put a little Band-Aid on this until it does.
So for the people on, now it's saying we're live on Rumble, but I'm not seeing it.
Oh. I will say this about Rumble. They are exceedingly responsive to us. I'm still getting the waiting, but the chat is up.
Yeah, if you could write something in the chat for the people. Once Rumble is up and running, I will switch the app back over to Rumble. So when I do that, it will be during a commercial break. I will let you all know so you have time to get out and get back in. Yeah, I got the Rumble notification too, but for some reason it's not updating our it's just not uploading the video.
Where should I direct them in the interim?
The app. Or Facebook, my Facebook page. I'll definitely keep my Facebook page going the whole time. Let's see here. Yeah, so... But I will let you all know.
It is what it is,
when
guys.
We have to switch over.
It is what it is.
Correct. The viewership will definitely. We won't know how many people are watching. Truly. Let me see. Let me check. We have a total of 23 people on Facebook.
Fantastic.
Go to the app. Go to the app.
We're killing it.
Yeah. Go to the app. This is when we wanted to I am not going to have time to friend people right now. This is why we got away from Facebook and YouTube, so but it's nice to have a backup.
People are asking, can you download the app to a computer?
No. I don't know if we disabled the Wendy Bell Radio .com if you're able to watch it there or not. I'm not sure. That's something I'll have to look into. Just not today.
Anyway, so it's forcing us to kind of scramble a little bit, but we still have a great show to put on for you guys today. So welcome. We're monitoring everything, and I know our friends are.
All right. So if you need to be on a computer, wendybellradio.com. Someone says this is the link they use. /watch-live. So right. Wendy Bell Radio /watch-live. Perfect.
That's it. There we go. Yes, I'm able to pull it up. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Carrie A.
You guys are all, you know what? You're part of the village, and the village people have to make it happen today.
Well,
this is the world we live in, right? Where you're reliant upon technology, but sometimes shizzle happens. I'm glad I wore the right shirt today. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Got to represent, folks.
Wimpkin is working also, so there's 3 different places you can find us. So,
needless to say, we're delighted that you're here. Thank you very much. So what is Wimpkin? Wimpkin was really our original place that we existed before the app, and Wimpkin's owner, our friend Jason Shepard, is the guy, the mastermind who created the Wendy Bell Radio Network app. And he's been hugely instrumental in helping us get off the ground and do what we're doing. So we love Wimpkin and we love Jason, and we're appreciative for his partnership and whatever we do. So hang tight. We got a good show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey, America. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell Radio program, your home for common sense conservative values. We're delighted to be with you on this hump day. Welcome. We've got a big show. I don't know about you guys, but I feel it's getting hard to breathe. Walls are closing in. Do you guys also sense a disturbance in the force, at least for the left? Because we sure do. The steady trickle, drip of information that does not spell good things for the Biden crime family syndicate. I'm just going to say it the way it is. That's what we have. We have a new whistleblower. We have a new WhatsApp message. We have random acts of journalism from a very unlikely source. And all of it is right here at your ear tips, if you will, on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Delighted to have you. Welcome aboard. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, every single day on the show, for Brock's purposes and for mine, just so I have a flow of where we're going, and for you as you listen, that it seems like it makes sense and there's a flow to it, right? I block out everything that we're going to be talking about on this handy dandy little grid. And as I look at the grid, I find something truly remarkable. There's a shift, ladies and gentlemen. Things are changing. You have felt, as I have, that you've been mired in muck as though you are trying to run through oatmeal. And it seems like at every turn you make, every edge you might have to get out of it, something else falls down upon us. Well, whether it's a Supreme Court decision or a judge in some jurisdiction refusing to hear evidence of a case, or it's something that the Bidens have gotten away with, that their administration has run interference on the news, that has just been so awful. And I feel tremendous hope today. Now, why is this? I believe that of all of the House members up for re-election in 2024, all of the Democrats, don't doubt me, they are carefully weighing their options. And here is the conundrum. Do I stay in the clone trooper party of unanimity, of voting in block, where we all do and say the same thing? Or do I try to protect my own hide and I start to tell the truth? And I start to be part of the solution that must come through for us to save what's been going on. I believe that's what's going on too. Democrats have a choice to make, and the momentum has shifted. Now a second IRS whistleblower, well, we should say probably a third, if that's the case. This other whistleblower that's just come out now, and it was breaking news shortly after we got off the air yesterday. I want you to hear what this is all about today, because it is totally damning to the entire lie mechanism that the Biden administration and the family, the Bidens themselves, have relied upon. They've become complacent. They've become lazy. They haven't even tried to conceal their lies because they're so certain that this complex is going to cover for them. They aren't banking on honest, principled, ethical people bucking the trend of the bullying and the blackmail and the threats, saying, you know what, whatever happens to me, so be it. But I have a duty to this country that I love to tell you what I know. And it's contrary to what these fools are telling you. Let's get out to this breaking news report. This is Fox News saying that this second whistleblower is backing up Gary Shapley, the IRS whistleblower, who said, look, I've got proof, documentation that U.S. Attorney from Delaware, David Weiss, you know, the Trump appointee, has not been able to run his own investigation, has not been able to actually investigate the Biden family, has not been able to prosecute Hunter Biden because the DOJ is running interference. Go.
Another whistleblower is sounding the alarm. Another whistleblower is sounding the alarm in the Hunter Biden tax probe, claiming U.S. Attorney David Weiss was not making decisions and was not really in charge. That validates what we have already heard from Gary Shapley, the whistleblower who has gone public. David Spunt is live at the Justice Department with the latest. David, what do we know about this second whistleblower?
Trace, not much. We just know his name is Mr. X. Of course, it's not his real name, but he wants to be anonymous. He told congressional staff last month he became emotional after seeing the way that this probe was handled from the beginning. Mr. X worked under the more publicized whistleblower Gary Shapley, and a letter released last week, Mr. X says it was clear to him that Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney David Weiss was not running the probe. Quote, he had to follow the normal process. He had to go to Washington, D.C., the U.S. Attorney's Office, them saying no. So he really wasn't in charge. He had to follow the process, end quote. But just 3 weeks ago, Trace, Weiss wrote and signed a letter addressed to House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan. We obtained a copy. It reads in part, I want to make clear that, as the Attorney General has stated, I have been granted ultimate authority over this matter, including responsibility for deciding where, when, and whether to file charges. Now, given the discrepancy between what Weiss allegedly said in the meeting and what he wrote in the letter, House Republicans want to hear from him and others in his office under oath.
We want to talk to David Weiss, the U.S. attorney. We want to get the answers. And the way you do that is to talk to these attorneys who handled this case.
Attorney General Merrick Garland has denied blocking Weiss from investigating. The story continues on Capitol Hill and in the court. On Capitol Hill and in the court.
The story continues beyond that. We also have audio soundbite in a rare random act of journalism. CBS News last night sitting down with IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley. Listen to this that Shapley dropped. He wasn't allowed to pursue leads. Listen.
Shapley, who is still working for the IRS, told us that even before President Biden took office, he was directed to avoid leads involving Hunter's father.
There were certain investigative steps that we weren't allowed to take that could have led us to President Biden.
And you wanted to take them?
We needed to take them.
And you weren't allowed to take them?
That's correct.
All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, a new WhatsApp message dropped by House Oversight yesterday, dated August 3rd, 2017. Hunter Biden communicating with CEFC associate Gong Weng Dong, also known as Kevin, in which Hunter Biden writes, quote, the Bidens are the best I know at doing exactly what the chairman wants from this partnership. Of course, the chairman refers to Xi Jinping, who is a Chinese billionaire with connections to a CCP intelligence gathering agency, a figurehead in China who, by the way, has disappeared and is presumed dead. Now, I will say, hours after these exchanges, Hunter Biden received a mysterious $100,000 payment in one of his shell companies, Owasco PC, from CEFC. Now, tell me this, ladies and gentlemen. Do you still believe that Joe Biden had nothing to do with his son's business? Because now the narrative among the press secretary, a new lady taking over for Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday. Did you see that? And she said something very interesting when asked about Joe Biden. Does he still deny ever speaking with Hunter about his overseas business dealings? The answer was the president did not engage in business with Hunter Biden, did not do business. That's not what we've been saying. He says he never spoke with him. We're not asking you if he did business with him, because now you're saying that, which means you admit that Joe Biden, for the last 2.5 years since he was on the campaign trail, oopsies, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. Please. And now you've got some Democrats in some pretty high-profile committee positions, including a Senate panel that has a pretty big bomb to drop of its own today. Democrats sounding off about it. Ladies and gentlemen, the jig is up. Merrick Garland must be called before House Oversight, before Senate Judiciary or House Judiciary. He must be called into question and must be called to testify under oath. Did you or did you not prevent people from pursuing leads that could lead to Joe Biden? And if he lies, and I'm going to roll the dice on he's going to lie, the first member of Joe Biden's cabinet must be impeached. And he will be the first. Buckle up, my friends. We are just setting the table to what's coming your way. Plenty of sound bites, including a bombshell bit of information. You know those rustling papers that CNN breathlessly reported as breaking news, with Donald Trump allegedly showing top secret classified information to people who didn't have top secret classified authority? That Iran memo, reportedly from the Department of Defense, doesn't even exist. Oh boy, wait for it. Quickly, let me tell you about our friends at Body by Aim 360, a wonderful group, medical weight loss team. Why do you need a medical team to help you lose weight? Well, because it's not a one-size-fits-all story out there. If it was just calories in, exercise, et cetera, we'd all walk around as the finest figures we've ever had. That's not how it works, because things are going on inside of your body that you don't know about until you get your blood tested. $99, 60 biomarkers, a dozen different hormones. And what does it tell you? Everything. You sit down with Dr. Dubiak, kneecap to kneecap, or if you're out of town, maybe you do it over the phone on a Zoom, right? Talk about what's going on. Talk about the plan to move forward, and then lose the weight. 20, 40, 60, 100 pounds. You can do it with Dr. Dubiak and Body by Aim 360's help. Easiest way to get in touch: if you live in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, go see them. Make the appointment, 412-227-9255. You're out of state, go to bodybyam360.com, click out of town, and get your process started, because it works. All right, so I want to play this bigger story from CBS News last night. Why are they all of a sudden telling the truth? It's all very interesting, is it not? As the pendulum starts to swing back into Realville, we've got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. So interesting. So wait, another whistleblower says, no, Shapley's telling the truth. We weren't allowed to do stuff. We were told we were not allowed to investigate. We were not allowed to follow leads. That's very unusual, too. A new WhatsApp drop. Hunter Biden putting the squeeze on someone. Everybody knows that the Biden family does what you guys want better than anyone else. And then all of a sudden, poof, a 6-figure deposit into his Owasco PC shell company. And then number 3, right? Ladies and gentlemen, there's no Iran battle attack plan? Really? Why did Donald Trump call it fake news? Because what they're giving you is propaganda to sway your opinion about Donald Trump. Impeachment wasn't enough. Russian collusion wasn't enough. Quid pro quo with Zelensky wasn't enough. E. Jean Carroll and 14 other women alleging Donald Trump did this or that wasn't enough. So now they're making up more.
I just got an alert that says Trump sues E. Jean Carroll for defamation.
Let's go. He's got the momentum. How about the judge who found that there was no proof of sexual intercourse or malfeasance? But because Donald Trump at that CNN town hall called her crazy, he's like, I never even met the woman. What the hell? Right? That's defamation of character. She's a victim. You can't talk about victims like that. The same way you can't talk about Hunter Biden as being anything other than a drug-addled man.
Yeah. And Joe just loves his son.
Victim. John Fetterman. Oh. Wah, wah. Morons. This Iran thing, though. It doesn't exist. Shocker. We're just getting started.
For you guys just tuning in, we know the Rumble feed's not there. They're having some issues. We'll get it up and running when we can, when they figure it out. So we're well aware of it.
Look at how calm you are.
Well, I mean, people are sending me
so
messages,
calm.
and it's just easier for me to respond here because
of course.
I can't respond to messages
see it,
right now.
You know we can see it, and we're on it. This is big news, ladies and gentlemen. This slow, steady trickle. I'm trying to figure out what's the next poison they're going to try to get. You know, we played that sound from the Emperor's New Groove yesterday. What was that again? Cusco's poison, the poison for Cusco, the poison specifically made for, yes, that poison. Oops, it didn't kill him. It turned him into a llama. Oops, it didn't do in Donald Trump. It just made him stronger. Oh boy. Let's listen to the complete CBS News sit down with Gary Shapley, IRS whistleblower, risking everything to come out and say, yo, I've been on this case for 5 friggin' years, and we have specifically not been allowed to do our jobs because our investigation could very well lead to Joe Biden. Boy, that kind of sounds like preferential treatment and 2 tiers of justice to me. How about to you? Here is Jim Axelrod.
If this was any other person, they likely would have already served their sentence.
Gary Shapley was a lead IRS supervisory agent in Operation Sportsman, the investigation into Hunter Biden. Shapley said he uncovered conduct that warranted more serious charges.
There were personal expenses that were taken as business expenses. Prostitutes, sex club memberships, hotel rooms for purported drug dealers.
How much did Hunter Biden owe in taxes?
So from 2014 to 2019, it was $2.2 million.
The back taxes were paid off, and last week, the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney in Delaware, David Weiss, reached an agreement with Hunter Biden. the president's son would admit to a firearm charge and plead guilty for his failure to pay taxes. If a judge signs off, the deal means no jail time.
Testimony we have just released details a lack of U.S. attorney independence.
And Shapley told lawmakers that U.S. Attorney Weiss was blocked from bringing stronger charges. But U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said last week that Weiss was not.
I'd say he was given complete authority to make all decisions on his own.
I documented exactly what happened, and it doesn't seem to match what the Attorney General or the U.S. Attorney are saying today.
Shapley provided lawmakers this contemporaneous email he wrote after an October meeting last year. Shapley says Weiss told him the opposite, that Weiss is not the deciding person on whether charges are filed.
It was just shocking to me.
Shapley, who is still working for the IRS, told us that even before President Biden took office, he was directed to avoid leads involving Hunter's father.
There were certain investigative steps that we weren't allowed to take that could have led us to President Biden.
And you wanted to take them?
We needed to take them.
And you weren't allowed to take them?
That's correct.
It is important to point out that at that point in Shapley's investigation, Donald Trump was still president, and his Attorney General, William Barr, had rules in place that may have limited what Shapley could pursue. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware had no comment. As for Hunter Biden, his attorneys did not respond to us, but he said before in a statement that he is taking responsibility for mistakes he made during a period of turmoil in his life.
And we should all feel very sorry for Hunter Biden because, you know, he was sending these wild text messages while under the influence, his attorney is alleging. And so now all of a sudden a drug-induced haze should be a defense for being a scumbag. I'm sorry, but I don't remember that being part of the defense attorney's toolbook. Do you? It's sort of like we're inventing new rules as we go, all to protect the Biden family. However, I think their cards in their deck of tricks are running a little bit thin. When we come back, this is huge news. CNN puts out this breaking, breathless report. We told you about it yesterday, with audio recordings of Donald Trump rustling papers and alleging, look, I'm not even supposed to be showing anybody this. At least that's what CNN says. And they alleged it was some super secret memo from Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs at the time, about some attack plan, some battle plan against Iran. Well, how about now? There's no such plan. It's all bogus. As though you were surprised. I've got all the details coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. They're such dirtbags. I wish I was surprised, but I'm not. This is the face that Brock likes to put up. This is what he likes. When I tell him something that's really, really surprising. I'm like, Brock, did you hear the fake news? What? It's great.
See, now I got to fix what you did.
Why? What did I do?
Look at the screen.
Yeah.
What's missing?
The logo. Aw. Always there to cover me. What a guy. Isn't it intriguing that CBS News is doing this? So I asked Brock in our early morning back and forth planning today's show. I'm like, is it me? Are you intrigued by why all of a sudden CBS News, I mean, they, along with all the other legacy loser outfits, were the ones who beat the incessant drum of Russia collusion. And Trump is an asset, and impeachment, and January 6th, and all things crazy with COVID. Why all of a sudden having this like lucid moment of actual journalism? And Brock, your response was?
Nobody's watching them anyways. They've got the worst ratings. They've got the worst ratings out of all the major news outlets. And this way they can say they covered it, even when they'll all say mainstream media covered it. I think they're tired of seeing also that, Fox had this many minutes and the rest of them had 0. So now they can at least put up like 12 minutes or 2 minutes. And kudos to the people on Rumble that are watching somewhere else. We still have more Rumbles than most people get in a day without even having a show on Rumble.
What's it looking like? Like 50?
No.
You guys are amazing. That's how...
We have 160.
Aw, you guys are the best.
Yeah.
We do love you.
A lot of people are watching on different platforms and commenting on the app or Rumble.
Well, we're glad you're here. However you're finding it, thank you. This is truly fantastic.
Uh-oh. We already have a community standards on Facebook.
Uh-oh, Brock might be shut down.
I'll take one for the team.
Will you?
I mean, that's just ridiculous. 31 minutes into the show, and nothing has been a lie, unless they're saying we weren't allowed to run CBS. But, whatever. Whatever. I'll stick to the generic music. So
we don't get flagged.
So they don't mute us. It is getting to the point it's so ridiculous. Facebook does suck.
I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I just
one of the reasons
don't.
we got away from it.
They hacked our account. We had 306,000 people on it.
317,000.
We had 317,000 people on it. It got hacked. I tried to flag it again and again and again, and I got radio silence. Sorry. Looks like you've lost your page. So somebody else is posting silly pictures of whatever. Who knows what they're posting? And even some of those violated Facebook's community standards. Because I got alerted. Did you know that some of the things that you're doing, I'm like, yo, go back 6 months ago. I told you it's not me. I don't have access anymore. Again, it's one of those things where you're almost grateful sometimes that stuff happens because you're forced away from something that doesn't deserve your time.
Rumble will get it figured out, and we'll be back there probably tomorrow.
They're great.
Yeah.
I was looking, and other shows on Rumble are doing fine.
Right.
So it's something with us.
And it's not really with us because people are able to find it in chat. Like I'm able to find it on because I'm a moderator and I'm on using your page. But some people can't find it, but we still have people chatting. So I think there's just somewhere along the lines the wires are crossed. But,
we're excited you guys are here. So thanks so much.
Yeah, we're not fond of YouTube either. Like I said, thanks to Jason.
No, we're both banned on YouTube. So we had to use Jason's account. And hopefully
we were going to use the Wimkin account on the app, but there's so many little intricacies. It was just easier for me to put the YouTube up. So
the good news is, as much as you guys don't want to hear it, our first priority is the radio.
Yes.
And barring, a satellite dropping out of the sky.
Right. Yes, please. Let's not throw that out into ethos.
Oops.
Because that is completely out of my control.
I'll talk about the battlegrounds coming up in just a minute. 2023 grad, you guys. Save 10%. It's a nice little chunk of change for something pretty special. We'll talk about them here momentarily. There comes a time in any battle, whether you're arguing with someone or you're doing something at work and you're fighting like heck to get a project done or what have you, or you're in all-out warfare, where you realize that the trenches that you happen to be in, the side that you've chosen is losing. And you have to figure out your escape plan. Are you going to go down with the ship? Are you going to go up in flames as it gets torched? Or are you going to find a shovel and start digging your way out? And I think we're seeing that. I think we're seeing that with some semblance of journalistic integrity, just small snippets of curiosity among the White House press pool, asking actual questions, not the prefabbed, I'm going to call on so-and-so, you're going to ask this because the optics are everything is great. Well, it's not, because we have a corrupt president who's been getting paid off by foreign governments, who by all appearances is an asset of the Communist Chinese Party. I'm just going to say it the way it is. You know, I've asked multiple people who've come on this program, people in the CIA, people in the FBI, who are deeply connected still, though they're out of those organizations. Do you think Joe Biden is an asset of a foreign government? Without question. And look, you have to be blind to not be able to see all of the evidence out there. Just because the news doesn't normally cover it does not mean it doesn't happen, or didn't happen. It's the same thing with the election of 2020. Just because no judge has agreed to look at evidence does not mean that fraud did not take place. That is not plausible deniability. That is saying I have seen no evidence of fraud because I'm having a hard time, refused to see it, right? But now all of a sudden we're seeing this strange momentum shift. CBS is picking up this story. Reporters in the press pool, Democrat lawmakers scratching their heads saying, you know what? Some of this Biden administration stuff is not right. That's going to drop at the 10 o'clock hour. I want to read you this. Again, going back to CBS. We got this on the Conservative Treehouse. If you guys haven't checked out that site, interesting stuff to see. conservativetreehouse.com. Per a CBS report, again, think about that. Mysterious DOD Iran attack memo does not exist, and in fact is not part of the Jack Smith case against Donald Trump. Now, if you cannot win, and you know that your boat is taking on water, and you're trying to bail out, but you need to create the illusion that you're still in charge so your core base doesn't panic, what do? Well, you've got to send out a competing message. And what the left has done is created fake news for years now, all pointing the finger at Donald Trump. And the fake news story, most recently, these CNN recordings, Donald Trump with people ostensibly working on an autobiography for Mark Meadows. And he's heard on audio rustling papers and talking about classified something or other. And the media have portrayed that those classified documents were so big and bombshell because they detail a plan for the United States military to attack Iran. How dare the president, former president, show people without any kind of security clearance such top secret information? Well, is it a surprise to you whatsoever that now we're hearing that there was no DOD plan to attack Iran, that there was no such memo, and that clearly he wasn't waving it around on that audio? Of course you're not surprised. Well, let's give you the details. After a full media cycle of pearl clutching, which included Andrew Weissman appearing on MSNBC to declare it's the end of Trump, CBS is now reporting there is no Defense Department memo about attacking Iran. The foundation of the media claims surrounding the leaked audio tapes from special counsel Jack Smith. Worse Still, and exactly as the conservative treehouse previously outlined, despite the claims by CNN about how this audio would be used as a central element by the prosecution of Trump, the audio and mysterious memo aren't even part of the special counsel case. Now, ladies and gentlemen, does that not fit the description, the definition in the dictionary of fake news? Just put Anderson Cooper's face there. Done. I don't even need a description. Understood. So why was the transcript of the audio recording used by Jack Smith in the indictment if the audio and non-existent memo were never going to be used? Because it is lawfare. Everything, including the specific language being deployed, is hype for public consumption. It's to taint American voters and to further twist their image of some really unhinged, dangerous, lunatic Donald Trump. That's the point. This is the CBS report. The Defense Department memo on Iran, at the heart of the now public audio recording that captured a July 2021 meeting with former President Donald Trump, is not part of the 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information charged in special counsel Jack Smith's indictment of the former president, a source familiar with the matter confirmed to CBS News. The document and recording are described in the indictment Smith's team secured against Trump earlier this month, recounted as an alleged meeting with a writer, a publisher, and two members of Trump's staff, none of whom possessed a security clearance. But according to a source familiar with the matter, Trump was not charged with unlawfully holding onto the Iran-related document discussed in the recording. Maybe because it doesn't exist? I'm just going to roll the dice on that. Furthermore, multiple sources familiar with the investigation previously told CBS News that defense attorneys were not certain the Iran memo in question was ever even recovered and returned to the government. There never was an Iran memo document. President Trump was discussing newspaper reports, newspapers and stacks of papers, as he originally told Brett Baer, when Brett Baer, as we played from Fox, repeatedly interrupted him. Can you imagine just for a moment being Donald Trump? I mean, honest to God, what has he actually been credibly accused of doing? Loving America, making America first, making America great, keeping America great, bringing back jobs, lowering unemployment, keeping inflation low, reducing taxes. I mean, what has he actually done? And think about how many people in your life out there with zero facts, because all they do is absorb this nonsense, say Donald Trump is a criminal. He should be locked up. He should be behind bars. He stole documents. Really? Prove it. Reminder, in an interview with Fox News' Brett Baer on June 19th, Trump said that at the meeting with the book's publisher, he was not referring to any document itself, but to newspaper articles. This is what he said. There was no document. There was a massive amount of papers and everything else talking about Iran and other things. It may have been held up or maybe not, but that was not a document. I didn't have a document per se. There was nothing to declassify. These were newspaper stories, magazine stories, and articles. And by the way, this goes back to why he said he didn't immediately give everything back to the National Archives that they wanted. He's like, look, I moved out of the White House. I had boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. Documents with newspaper articles and clothing and baseball caps. I hadn't had time to go through it. I'm not just going to give all of my personal effects to the National Archives, which is completely politically against me, right? I need to have time to go through it. And we were negotiating the timely release of stuff to them if they so wanted. And then what happened? Oh, yeah. They raided Mar-a-Lago again. Another photo op, another disinformation operation, another opportunity to create this tainted jury pool. This idea that Donald Trump is doing something he shouldn't do. All the while, of course, obfuscating, blurring, smoke screening the real issue that Joe Biden, from everything that we've seen, is a freaking criminal. He accepted money from foreign governments. To do what? What is his talent? What is the Biden family's skill? What were they selling? You don't need to be a political scientist to put those pieces together. Come on, man. So there's that. And when we go to CBS News, interesting, Catherine Herridge on the byline, Iran memo not among the 31 records underlying charges in Trump federal indictment. Can you imagine having a special prosecutor, this guy, Jack Smith, who purposely floats out word of an audio recording of Donald Trump specifically to cue the media? You want to go get that? And then leaking that audio to CNN to create the never-ending illusion that Donald Trump has done something wrong? Can you, I mean, really? Meanwhile, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just trying to raise my boys. You know, my husband and I are just trying to be good role models. We're trying to work hard and do what we do and be honest, honorable citizens. We pay our taxes. We care about our neighbors. We just want our family to be safe and to be able to achieve without government interference. And they're playing a High School Musical soap opera, a tragic drama whose storyline is so dumb and has been disproven so many times and is now beginning to peel back a putrid, rancid, rotten onion, the layers of which are showing just how deeply dark and corrupt every echelon of our federal government is. And the only question you have left to ask is, for how long? How long has it been like this? How long have we not known? How many elections have they fiddled with? How many lies have they pushed off? How many more viruses are we going to have to go through? Who knew what when? And who got rich off of it? I know it wasn't us. I want to tell you about our friends at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Dr. Richard Rafferty, when you can say that you've helped 10,000 people live a pain-free life after suffering the devastatingly painful effects of bulging or herniated discs in your back or your neck, I'm pretty sure you have a triumphant life. And that's what he does, because he's revolutionized something called intradisc neutrosis. It's not surgical, but it is a therapy to allow discs to heal themselves, to kind of come back to life, because your body is a remarkable thing. It just needs the help to do it. And Doc Rafferty does that at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. 98% successful. And there's only one way to find out if you're a candidate. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Check them out and make the call. It costs you nothing, and it could cure everything that hurts you so much. All right, quick time out. When we come back, one of Trump's attorneys, Alina Habba, speaking last night on Fox. They've just got to be incredulous, right? Are you kidding me? What she has to say about the CNN audio tapes. Boy, oh boy, wait for it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
This is Kelly Morgan, owner of Morgan's Fitness, a proud sponsor of Wendy Bell Radio.
Thank you. Isn't it just, you're almost becoming, you don't want to be numb to it. You know, you don't want to expect everybody to suck, but it's sure a safe bet, isn't it? Because that's how it feels from where I'm sitting. A safe bet, 100%, to just always be guaranteed.
Yeah, how about the surprise would be the truth now?
What have they told you? The border is secure.
I made a list this morning.
What? We do this from time to time.
Yes.
When we get fussy, we both sit down we're like,
this is what I did when I was shaving. These are all the things that were conspiracy. Remember, you were kicked off or community notes or whatever. COVID wasn't in a lab. They didn't do gain of function. January 6th, they said there was no deep state. Trump calling the mainstream media fake news was BS.
we're not coming after your children.
The gay agenda, the fact checkers, no caravans coming to the border. They're trying to normalize pedophilia. There was no biolabs. There was no Hunter laptop. I mean, and that was just me while I was shaving. If you sat down and thought about it, all these, we came up with what, 3 more in the car, and I can't remember what they were.
Oh gosh. I mean, that's what I did when I closed my Newsmax show the other weekend with just if democracy dies in darkness, isn't the light of the truth blinding? And then I just rattled off I said, I sat down and in 10 minutes, this is what I wrote. And it was just like, and then people were like, I want that. And people started emailing me. They found me online and they're like, I want to see that. So I put it on Twitter, and 340,000 views later, it's not like nobody else sees this, right? They think you don't. Is there a more visual assault on your sensibility than the open border?
They're dumb for thinking you're dumb. They think
they're banking on you.
Yeah, they think you're still watching mainstream media.
They're used to the blackmail, bullying media complex that they can get away with.
The prime example is Fox thought they could get away with firing Tucker.
Yes, and that'd make everything better.
That went boom, boom in their face.
Oops. Fantastic. I love this blurb from CBS. The document and recording. Document, again, remember, the left has told you there's some super secret Department of Defense Iran memo. Oh my gosh. There was a plan to attack Iran. Think about the implications if you're Iran listening to that. This isn't some soap opera story. These people are playing with dangerous incendiaries. The document and recording are described in the indictment Smith's team secured against Trump earlier this month, recounted as an alleged meeting with a writer, publisher, and 2 members of Trump's staff, none of whom possessed a security clearance, none of whom this even matters, considering Trump wasn't holding up anything classified, because there wasn't anything classified. Right? But according to a source familiar with the matter, Trump wasn't charged with unlawfully holding onto the Iran-related document discussed in the recording. The 37-count indictment against Trump, all of which is stupid, includes 31 charges of willfully retaining national defense information. Do you honestly believe that? We heard Joy Reid opine that he had the nuclear codes, that he was this unhinged lunatic, and he was deranged, that he had lost, that all of a sudden there was an outpouring of love for this, infirm octogenarian, and everybody came out in droves because Joe Biden spoke to them and they had to vote for him, and Donald Trump was crazy, and he has the codes. This is how crazy this is. This is a game of telephone. You and I played this as first graders, except this is your government and the industrial media complex. Listen to Alina Habba, one of Trump's attorneys, on with Fox last night, and she absolutely destroys this. There better be consequences. There had better be. Listen.
That in the indictment itself, there was no Iran documents named as part of it. Just want the American public to realize that. That document that they claim he had was not part of the indictment. This is desperate times and desperate measures by people that are losing. Have they found it?
What document are they talking about?
That's what they're saying it was, but that was not part of the indictment. It doesn't make sense because it's a lie. It's a ruse. They are just trying to distract the American people.
That's it. Diversion ops, smokescreen, alternate narratives. Take your attention off of what's really going on and what is really going on. House Judiciary, House Oversight. More people. Hunter is going to be subpoenaed in this civil case that we're going to talk about coming up, filed against him by John Paul McIsaac, who I have said repeatedly is the hero who may well unravel a very dark chapter in American history. There is a stain in the Encyclopedia Britannica next to this chapter of American history. And John Paul McIsaac, the tech repair guy from Delaware who got the laptop, may be the one person, the linchpin in unraveling a ball of corruption, of influence peddling, of collusion, the likes of which we probably couldn't even fathom, but we're sure sampling, aren't we? So Hunter's going to be deposed. He's going to be under oath. One will only imagine that Hunter will feign drug-induced what? I don't recall. I don't know if it was mine. I don't remember walking in there. I was so strung out on whatever I was on. Except here's a little meaty caveat. Hunter's own attorney has confirmed that the WhatsApp message where Hunter says, as he's strong-arming his Chinese business partner for $5 million, my dad is sitting right next to me. And his attorney confirms, yep, that was my client. Now, how are you going to defend that, my friends? That is the question of all ages. When we come back, a censorship industrial complex, domestic surveillance by your federal government of you on social media exposed. Do not go anywhere. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
Okay, guys. I'm going to try to switch us. Rumble is back up and running.
All right.
So I'm going to try to switch us over on the app.
All right.
You guys can watch this in real time. Let's do this.
Hey, by the way, if you're watching on Brock's Facebook page, maybe now we can bounce off of it. While Brock is doing that, well, you know what? I want to wait because
let me do this. Okay.
Let's see if I can log in when you're.
Let me publish. Let's publish this.
And don't be telling me that you think he deserves a 50-cent an hour raise or anything.
50 cents.
I don't want to hear it.
I do.
Right.
Say it out loud. Say it.
There you go. You did it.
So we're going to, not necessarily.
Oh, I see it.
Let me get back.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Boom.
Name the actor.
Now, really, there has to be a raise involved. Okay, to the people on Facebook, go to Rumble. Go to the app.
Wendy
go
Bell
to
Radio
Wimpkin.
Network.
Yes.
And on Rumble, Wendy Bell Radio.
So we are signing off on YouTube.
See you later.
And let me see if I can stop that. Remove. Save changes. Let's get off of.
Now your number just jumped up to 321.
Let's get off of YouTube.
Bye.